started last week. Time now for our Russia Close-Up series, where this time the team travels to North Ossetia. Yes, Christian churches, agricultural prosperity and a magnificent ancient necropolis known as the City of the Dead. Today we look into one of the most mysterious sites in southern Russia, the village of Dargavs. But it's not the site's dark legacy that drives the locals away, as RT's Medina Kochenova discovered.
We continue our exploration of the North Ossetian Republic, and this time we visit a unique historical area, the village of Dargavs, or as the locals call it here, the City of Dead. Now, this cemetery has almost 100 ancient stone crypts, where people that lived in this area buried their loved ones along with their belongings. Now, this valley stretches for over 16 kilometers and is a real open-air museum for Ossetians. They say this land helped them imagine life down here 400 years ago. Meanwhile, day-to-day life continues in this area alongside these images of the past. Now watch our report to find out more.
3 hours drive through a dangerous snaking road hidden up in the mountains. A tough trip, but it's worth it.
There are a lot of different legends and myths around this area. In the past, locals tried to avoid going to the City of Dead. They say anyone who dares to get in will never get out alive. And even now, there are hardly any tourists around this place, which might be more to the difficulty of getting here rather than any death curse.
In the times of the plague, many people with no one left to bury them would come to the crypt and wait for their death. First mention about the City of the Dead dates back to the beginning of the 14th century. The ancestors of Ossetians settled down on the 5 mountain ridges, but the land was so expensive they were forced to choose the windiest and most unserviceable place to build a cemetery. These days, the area now provides a huge opportunity for archaeologists. Items found at the cemetery have intrigued both professionals and local amateurs. These days, the surrounding area may once again be alive with agriculture and opportunity, but it's being deserted by people in search of a different lifestyle. For a local Ossetian, Akhshar Varziev, this is a devastating fact. He has built his own hydropower plant that provides him and his family with electricity, but he doesn't know who will inherit his legacy.
The idea was born over 10 years ago, but it took me several years to build it from scratch. I used everything I could possibly find. I call my invention a free-flow wheel. But what I see now is that people are leaving. Half of our village left in less than 10 years.
Akhshar believes the only thing that can reverse this situation is the creation of the necessary infrastructure, new roads, new jobs and new opportunities to stop people leaving. Young people may be attracted to the bright lights of the cities, but locals say they're leaving behind a truly unique part of Russia.
The land of North Ossetia is surrounded by mountains and hills, and while driving along the slopes of these hills, one can suddenly run into a church or a small mosque blending into the scenery.
Father Georgi, who left his secular life to live here, says that this monastery, the highest situated in Russia, connects the past and the present. The church was only built some 6 years ago, but it stands near a tower that dates back to the 16th century.
During the Epiphany celebrations, over 10,000 people come here. For local Christians, this place is unique, maybe because of its location. Nobody knows.
After spending several hours here, it really feels like this mountainous area marries the past with the present. And if you listen hard enough, you can almost hear the forefathers of Ossetia singing their songs by the fire.
Dargovs in the Republic of North Ossetia has also kept the memories of the times when this place was famous for the construction of Ossetian defensive towers. Now the ruins of these buildings can still be seen on the slopes of the mountains that surround this area, and the biggest remaining tower is over 15 meters high. Now to talk more on the historical importance of this area for Ossetians, I'm now joined by a local resident, Zarina Nartikova. Thank you very much for joining us. So Zarina, tell us, why do locals still consider this place as a special area?
Well, the place is really spectacular, and nearby this beautiful landscape, here is the city of the dead. People still value it, people still respect it. Here are many tombs. In these tombs, people buried the whole generations of one family, and every family had its own tomb.
And what kind of interesting objects were found that you know of were found at the cemetery?
Well, I think the most interesting thing here is so-called boats, because in many cases the remains of dead people were found in wooden blocks. Even in the biggest rivers, it's impossible to sail here. So why people buried them in that boats, it's amazing. Nobody knows. It's a secret for everybody still.
All right, thank you very much. That was Zarina Nartikova, a local resident. Meanwhile, our team continues to bring you the latest picture of life down here in Russia's North Caucasus in the Republic of North Ossetia.
And I'll be back in just a couple of minutes to bring you the headlines here on RT. Stay with us.